Hey everyone, it's Erin from Lady Be Collective, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Yes, needs aren't needy. I love that. I designed it for Clothing for a Cause, and you can get one on my website, ladybecollective.com. And I cut it, so you can do whatever you want with it, but I just love what it stands for. So I just wanted to get that shameless plug out there, which you already know, so maybe I won't have to do it at the end. Okay, so I don't know why I'm such in a good mood and very like cheerleader cheery today, but honestly it's probably because I got some vitamin D and worked out. But back to the subject at hand, or the topic. So I thought I would talk about adjustment, right? It's very close and it's obviously a form of change. But I was just thinking about how many adjustments we make in life, and then like on different levels. Like they could just be daily adjustments. So for instance, I do emergency fostering and foster respite for now. And so once a month, I have an overnight, and I have to adjust for that, right? Because it's not something that's like a normal part of my life. And although it adds so much to my life, there's still an adjustment. And as great as it can be, my body and mind don't always like change, even in like daily routine or monthly routines, like, or yearly. And I think that we don't talk enough about these adjustments in life. Some are just, we have to do it for work or family, make the adjustments. Some are unexpected. And I mean, I guess you can kind of use it with change, but it's not like a full change, right? Where it's just, oh my God, a shock to the system. But these little changes, sometimes we don't realize that they add up, and whether they're good or bad, even if they're the best adjustment ever to your schedule, it still kind of, at least for me, throws me off. I try to be as scheduled as I can, even when I'm not scheduled. It just helps my anxiety. It helps me to stay on course, to concentrate, to just stay with it, because that's just what's best for my mental and physical health. But again, that doesn't always happen. So I have found myself that when I have to adjust, which is often, like most people, it doesn't really occur to me that day. I'm just like, oh, okay, even whenever it happens. But I can slowly start to see it, especially recently, how I would be not even just more tired, like more cranky or negative, or just, I felt like something was off. And I'm really sensitive to change. So I really didn't know what it was. I mean, to the point where my normal coping mechanisms weren't really working. And so I'm just like, I didn't tie it in together. Like I would just have like maybe an emotional morning where I would be upset or anxious or just cry a little bit. And I just thought, okay, I need to like shed a lot of layers a lot of times, due to just having so much, honestly, triggers and trauma, that I internalize a lot of it. So I wasn't even putting it together, because these little adjustments are positives in my life and just stuff that happens and you have to adjust to. So I started realizing when I was feeling this way, and it's not every time, okay, just to disclaim that, like every time you're feeling anxious or a little bit off, it's not always because there's adjustments being made in your life. That could be a possibility, but I just wanted to throw that out there, a little food for thought, so you would think about that. Because when we have these adjustments and we feel like, oh, it's okay, and maybe we're internalizing some stuff during that, and then we keep adding different adjustments, and then all of a sudden you just don't feel right, or you have a breakdown, a little bit of a breakdown, or you just feel extra tired. And I think a lot of times in life we're just like, yeah, we're getting older, that's life, we're tired, we feel just worn out. And the problem with that is that we all feel that way. So if we can pinpoint why we're feeling that way, especially with, again, this is the topic for today, adjustments, but I guess it could be anything. I think it's important right away to acknowledge that these things have changed. So even when you go to the doctor, they're like, oh, any major changes? But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be major. to make you not feel good, right? So that's where kind of implementing more positive habits all the time, because you'll go to those when you're feeling a little off. So if you start seeing that these adjustments to your schedule are there, and making you feel a little off, I've noticed that I will actually like write them down and even think to myself like, oh, this is what happened, and this is probably why I'm feeling this way. One, acknowledging it and saying it out loud helps with anxiety and depression, and from your in your mind from wandering to what else it could be. And that's really, really important. And then once I say it, I kind of feel like these are in every video I do because they're so important. But the concept of, maybe I'll need like a little extra sleep when I can. So again, for me, sometimes that means not being able to do something I really want to do because I need the extra sleep, or just going for like a walk when I don't really want to, but just grounding myself and getting that fresh air and that vitamin D, because it really, really helps. Sometimes just crying it out if that's how you're feeling. There's just many, many ways that we always talk about that honestly help so much. Yesterday, for example, there's some change going on and just added stuff that I'm absolutely loving. But at night, I just felt very sad and a little depressed. It was kind of weird. I sometimes get that in the morning or at night, but it just seemed different. And today, when I woke up, I made time to go outside, to breathe, to stretch, to just walk barefoot on the ground, to get vitamin D, and then to come back when I didn't want to, in between things, and stretch and walk some more and do a little exercise. Did I want to do all that? No, to be honest, I didn't. I also didn't want to completely hydrate, but I made sure that I got a hydrating drink and drank something. And now I just feel so much better. I can't even tell you, from night until this morning. And nothing major happened. And I think that trying to be more cognizant of that, because it's hard to always get extra sleep or be able to eat a nutritious meal, or just, walk barefoot. Like I just said it, that sounded so weird. Like walk barefoot and ground yourself. Like, yes, that works, but like we don't always have the time, the privilege to be able to just do that, and again, this isn't problem solving. This doesn't like just answer all of our problems. But I think if we have these things as a basis and we go to them when we can, the breath work and the grounding and making sure at least you have something nutritious in you and you drink something. And again, these seem so obvious, but for me, when I'm busy, when I'm stressed, I don't want to do any of these things. I know they're good for me, but I really don't want to. But to be honest, as time went on, I now know that like if I go a few days without implementing some of that, I want to. I've done it long enough consistently. It's not every day. I go through my periods of time, but it's consistent enough where I know that this has to be a lifestyle. So I went off a little bit off topic, but those are just things that I've noticed are just so, so important. And they help with these little adjustments, especially if you catch them early. So that's kind of the moral of the story here, is that if you're feeling a little off, see what's different in your life. Again, it's not always major changes. It's not. It's the little changes that do that. And make sure that, especially in the beginning of those, that you're cognizant of this is going to be an adjustment, and how can a couple of things I mentioned or whatever works for you to decrease anxiety, depression, and even more so with me. And I don't know if other people too, but I just, no matter how much sometimes I talk about it or I think I'm okay with it or it's no big deal, I internalize it and I carry a lot of that physically and mentally with me. And I don't mean to. I utilize everything I can. It's just kind of the dysregulation with my nervous system and kind of how I deal with stuff. So I have to really check in, and I think a lot of us do at different times in our life when things are changing, which life is always ever changing. So this can apply to everyone at some level. And yeah, that's just kind of what I wanted to talk about today, because I know that even with summer here, there's a lot of different plans and changing. Things are starting to kind of go back to this normal, I'm not gonna say normal society or pre-COVID, but just there's a lot of change that maybe we're not really being conscious about and realizing that it's changed because we're busy in our own lives with change. So that's it for today. I hope you're having a good Wednesday. Remember, if you're not, it's okay. It's not a good day. Tomorrow will come and maybe that'll be a better day. Maybe it won't, but just take it step by step. I didn't mean to be a Debbie Downer on that one, but just step by step and go with it. And remember that you're worthy and capable and enough no matter how you're feeling. And I had to remind myself this a couple times lately, that your feelings aren't always reality and your feelings aren't going to stay forever. And just reminding yourself that has really, really, really been helpful. So again, I said this in the beginning, if you're interested in the Clothing for a Cause, or you're interested in my blog series or podcast or YouTube or anything, go to ladybecollective.com, and then go to Instagram and check that out if you want. I do stories. I actually just put up a reel. I don't know why I've been putting up reels, but I never know all the whole ins and out of Instagram, how to put it up one way, because this one looks like you can actually see it. The other ones people don't see it, so I don't know. But all that good stuff, I mostly do through Instagram. So again, that's it. And I always have trouble with endings. I swear, I just need to be like, okay, have a great day, goodbye. But I tend to ramble on. So this will really be it. So have a good rest of your day, or just have a day, and I will talk to you next week. All right, bye.